Good morning and welcome back everyone. In today's lesson I'm going to show you a quick but useful technique for adding a realistic shallow depth of field to your photos. This method gives you total control over the effect. You can go back and increase or decrease the amount of depth of field at any time because we're using smart objects. So let's start by opening our image. Here we are. First thing we always do is duplicate the image twice and create a selection by clicking on the select subject, and then we need to mask it to create a more accurate selection. So whilst I do that and fast forward, I'll come back to you in a couple of minutes. Okay, so there we are, we have our selection. So we need to click on layer mask. And now we need to remove the subject from the background. So we highlight layer 1, press the Command or Control key, click on the mask to highlight it, go up to Select, Modify, Expand, 6 pixels, OK, Edit, Fill, Content Aware Fill, OK. To deselect, Command or Control D. Let's have a look at the background. Yeah, it's pretty clean. Okay. So now I'm going to remove a little bit of the noise in the background. So I'll convert the layer 1 into a smart object. Go up to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, 3 pixels, OK. Now I'm going to rename this base layer BG for background and this top layer subject. Highlight BG, go to Filter, Blur Gallery, Field Blur. You see this little pin with the radius. Well, I want to move that down to the tip of the lower wing. Click just below it to create another pin and a further pin at the top, which is the upper wing. So now that we've got our parameters set, so our blur will come into effect below this pin at the lower wing there and above the upper wing. So we can now go to blur and start adding some blur. You don't want to overdo it, otherwise it'll look ridiculous like that. So bring it back down to probably about 70, and I think that gives a nice effect. Just click OK. Now, because we've got a smart object indicated by this S here, we can always come back and increase or decrease the amount of blur. So by doing that, we can click on Blur Gallery and it comes back up. So we can increase it, decrease it. So take it back up to 70, where it was 74 will be fine. Okay. So let's have a look. So taking it off, that's the image that we had. That's our base image. And this was shot at f5.6. With the blur gradient that we've added, we now end up with that, which is significantly blurred. I might actually add a bit more. take that up to 95. OK. So let's just deselect that a minute. There we are. Add it back in. And I think, I think that's great for this image. And what I typically do now is select the two layers, subject and BG. Now press Command, Option, Shift and E, and that will create a single image merged, combined. Convert that into a smart object. Then go up to Filter, Camera Raw Filter. And now we can edit this as we typically normally would. So we'll just drop the whites, drop the blacks slightly. Actually, I'll just lift that back up a bit. Bit of texture, bit of clarity. Have a look at the detail, bit of sharpening. Now I always add a bit of masking, which takes out any noise to the subject, like so. OK. So there we have it. That's before, and that's after. Before, after. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Just a quick tutorial on increasing depth of field. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.